take a seat real fast. Server owners and coders, content creators and streamers, showing off the community with all their features. Issues with updates, someone's mistake, new things they added, angry players it makes. Get in chat, voice your opinion, you're the community and we wanna listen. It's the Peasants Podcast, TPP, putting out the word about the DayZ community. The greedy peasant, he runs the show, but without his team this wouldn't be so. The queen peasant, who runs the chat with the friendly hello, make sure you say it back. Survival role play, choose a character, hold the dev accountable on every single matter. Social media and TikTok, she likes to toast. Smiley's a people person, new friends on the coast. It's the Peasant Podcast, we're having a blast with the DayZ community, so take a seat real fast. It's the Peasants Podcast, TPP, putting out the word about the DayZ community. The greedy peasant, he runs the show, but without his team this wouldn't be so. The queen peasant, who runs the chat with a friendly hello, make sure you say it back. It's the Peasant Podcast, we're having a blast with the DayZ community, so take a seat real fast. It's the Peasants Podcast, TPP, putting out the word about the DayZ community.
Rightio, welcome everybody to the Peasants Podcast. I hope you're having an absolutely lovely weekend, even if it's just kicking off or you're just about to finish it up. We'd like to welcome everybody to the chat. We have Mr. Teabag, Mr. X Tears, Mr. Honest Criminal in the house, Mr. Twisted Talk. Welcome everybody. I hope you're having a lovely day. First of all, we have our absolutely legendary couch warmer, Mr. 80KQ. Morning, Mr. Q. How you doing?
Yeah, not bad. Morning, everyone. How are we?
It's a little cold in Sydney today. What's it like over in the Big NZ?
Beautiful. It's sunny. Lovely day.
Nice and sunny. We just had a couple of weeks of rain and probably still more to come, as half the East Coast gets flooded by the thing we sometimes crave the most during droughts, rain. We either have too much or not enough. So all those people that are struggling, I know there's a couple of Australian content creators out there who've just had shit go pear-shaped. Businesses go up. I hope you're safe. Hope your family's well. And yeah, definitely look after yourselves. Apart from that, let's dive into the show. New servers and updated servers this week. We have a brand new server on the Discord. This one's from an old school owner that's come back. This is called Whispers in the Dark. It's an Xbox American server, 32 slot, mouse and keyboard, 2x loot and modified loot spawns, Animals Plus, custom Zeds with custom loot, trader safe zone, and locker trading system. KOS and the rest of the map, dark nights, 2-hour days, 30 minutes nights, faction and weekend raids, 2 static gas zones, Riffy and Pav military, build anywhere is on, modified stamina, car spawns with all tires and a chance for the parts, weekly events, weekly giveaways, achievement rolls and prizes. Enjoy loading into one of 8 custom spawns, take a nap in the train car, and travel from spawn to spawn with our fast travel system. Seek out our toxic zones on the map for special prizes and events of rare loot. Search a custom bases and visit the trader in the field just north of Radio Zone. Come check us out to see if you'd like to make this server your new home. Whispers in the Dark. So just been added onto the Discord if you want to get involved in it. Sounds pretty chill. I do know the owner. They did put out quite a good couple of servers before they had a hiatus. But yeah, definitely give it some love. So that's going to move us on to this week's topic. So this week's topic is, as stated in a little post, how will DayZ future-proof itself? The main topic is, what does DayZ need to do to keep its player base from moving to similar games that DayZ once filled the need of? BI has put themselves in a strange position of putting out a competing game with its own player base. DayZ for a long time has been used as a faction multi-team game to allow, especially on console, a military-style war game. A large amount of servers in the community were popular for easy loot up and PvP action. These servers over the last 12 months have seen their doors being reduced to lower player numbers and less servers. Games like Arma Reforger have taken console world by storm, with a recent announcement with PS5 getting mods available. This trend will surely expand not only across to the console world, but to the PC side too, with crossplay being added to the brand. Arma Reforger has removed any type of DayZ influence mods, keeping the game platform separate, but for how long? With better graphics, enhanced vehicle mechanics, and rapid community growth, players are looking for the next frontier of the DayZ Arma gaming. Yeah, so we have seen over the last X amount of time, at least 12 months, a massive reduction in DayZ community as a whole, especially the player community. DayZ was once known for its war games and war style, but I think the recent add-in of Arma Reforger and the big pull on that now has pushed 90% of the players that got into DayZ for that war style conquest, red versus green, 10x loot. There was a whole bunch of them. We played quite a lot of them. But now you see them, their doors aren't as popular. Their servers aren't buzzing as much. I do go on to say the dev team have really excelled in the last updates, and with shared gaming practices with Arma coding starting to filter its way into the DayZ updates. Also taking what the community has asked for being employed from the community and making the right changes to a lot of things that were stale in DayZ. The question is there enough survivalists out there or appeal to the game to keep the DayZ community as is, or does, like all games, it need to move to the next version? Upgrade to tech that we have to expand the capabilities of the game. So I want to throw that across to you guys because I've got a few points to run through. But with DayZ now, the days of making a full map KOS server won't get as popular these days. They used to be busting at the doors and people driving to get into these servers and to get in these communities. Now it's more of the fact that you can go and get a better experience and a better a gaming experience over at Arma Reforger. It's lost a lot of our population, and of course, without population, you do have the lack or the need to be able to push out updates or, fund the actual devs to create the game and continue the game through. Also go on to say, will the game be the same if it is moved to the next generation? Like Minecraft, does it need to keep its style and expand on its maps, items and transport to keep the player base happy and bring in new players to keep the game going? DayZ is a mod and has lasted further than most mods do, expanding in the standalone environment to fulfill the needs that now new games satisfy better and with greater potential. Does DayZ need to refine its player base and start to heavily focus on that hardcore survival to weed out the hardcore PvPers to bring the community that was envisioned from the start? And the major question is what does DayZ need to do in the future to keep it relevant and grow its community? So that's my my little spiel for this week. We want to know what you guys think about, the future of DayZ, especially in the console environment now that Arma Reforger has taken over as the war game. Does DayZ have enough survivalists, enough influence to keep going? Or will it potentially get, as a lot of games do, slowly put to the back burner and concentrated on in different areas? Especially, BI bringing out Arma Reforger. That's majorly taken off to the amount that DayZ couldn't even get close to. You can see the conquest maps now that roll off. They got 52 American states in a map that's huge that you have to transport helicopters and things like that across large amounts of areas. So a lot of teamwork's involved. Where DayZ is more of a standalone. Yeah. What is the future of DayZ? How can it future-proof its brand? Hello, Moist Demon. How you doing? And Primal Scream. How you doing, buddy?
I think that's why they've been trying to pump out more maps. I think that's definitely part of the reason why they're looking at giving us the second new map in less than a year, is for that fact that they know that it's starting to decline and they need to try and keep that interest up.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, is DayZ now at its peak performance where you really can't do much to it unless you're just fine tuning it? They've got to work on the cars. They've done all the sounds. They've redone all the even our actions where we sew and clean guns and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's almost like they get to the polishing stage of it, where it's almost like, okay, we've done what we can do. I think there is one major thing that they can do that'll bring back a lot of the player base, and that's head to the direction like the Musk and start putting in major things for people to do.
Yeah, the mission style. Do you think the average gamer needs that mission? And why Livonia, I suppose, has gained popularity with, the fallout of grabbing the bunker card and heading to the bunker.
I think so, definitely. But it's also, it needs to to keep the players here, If we're losing a lot of players to games like Reforger and that, you need something that's got to stand out rather than just what everyone's been used to for the past 10 years.
Yeah, and I suppose that's a good point, that has DayZ, been that title that's taken the survival sandbox genre and had the top marks on it for a long time, and now, you got the games like Scum and stuff like that hit the same sort of hammer on the head, but is that genre very comfortable on a console compared to on a PC now that Arma Reforger has come in? I can only see the survivalists hanging around for the DayZ world. it's a very
Mm.
it's a very strange. I thought it was a very strange way they've sort of marketed it, especially with Arma Reforger. It went dormant for the first 12 months, and of course now it's exploded, absolutely exploded. Um, but even the consistent hammering of not wanting to put the DayZ mods on, this I can't understand.
Well, you know something that it was kind of part of my business, but I'll bring it up now because it pertains to the conversation about Marx's latest video. And his latest video was how awesome the DayZ mods on Arma Reforger are. Now, that kind of took me back a little bit because what they're doing is removing a lot of the DayZ mods that get added to Reforger. But here's one of the devs that work for BI playing DayZ mods on Arma Reforger. Kind of, I don't get it.
Yeah, that is a quite a strange look at it, especially when like I know the Bob Mob and Very Silent Bob, a very good friend of the podcast. He's been heavily concentrating on trying to get these mods up and running, and to the point where they've got fruit going on trees, and it's not too far off a basic or the very first DayZ run through, but consistently these mods get stripped off the BI the mod workshop. So therefore they have to go back, recompile it, re-put it back together, and then obviously being Bob, you just re-put it back out as a different name.
Yeah, that just seems weird to me that they're removing these mods yet the community managers playing the mods.
Yeah, and I understand him having to be out there and trying to promote the game and keep the game going and pump it along, but yeah, that is a very strange aspect, especially when you know people like Very Silent Bob put a lot of time and effort with Jarv trying to get these mods up and running and actually get it going. So it is very strange.
The other side of it too is it's not just that. It's as we're talking about Reforger starting to take a lot of the player base. Why would the community manager for DayZ, admittedly on his own private channel, but be pushing Reforger, which is something that's almost a competition with DayZ?
Well, that's the other thing. See, I would think it would be a more of a thing to be binded to the game in that sense, especially when you come into the view sense of it and displaying it and streaming. Surely you'd be roped into or contracted to, you know, display the game you hired for. It'd be like a COD representation or dev play in Battlefield. Like, and they probably do.
Yeah.
But they're not live on Twitch doing it.
That's right. Yeah. They're not out there pumping out things. It's just I don't understand it. Like, I like Marks, don't get me wrong, for as much shit as I give him. I do like the guy. He's actually doing a lot better things in the community as other community managers have.
Yes.
But to me, it's that just didn't hit the mark. It was like, haha, didn't hit the mark. it just didn't sit right.
Correct. Yeah, 100%. You know, it's the Coke rep drinking Pepsi.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, I want you out there pushing DayZ and bringing people into the game, not showing off another game and saying, hey, look how cool this mod is on this other game. Like, that's not your job, mate.
Yeah,
Come on now.
That's chasing views as a streamer, not fulfilling your role as a community manager.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I understand that you've had your own channel before you took the job at BI, But the role that you took it behind now means that you kind of have to be biased.
Yes. Yes. You have to love the game as much as we do. If not, hand over the role and we'll fly to Prague. Take the whole fam.
That's right.
But yes, that is a very interesting
Well,
point. Very interesting point.
It's kind of pissed me off a little bit when I say that.
Yeah.
I thought, oh, well, that's perfect because we're having a rant about that exact thing of games like Reforger taking over, and we've got a community manager not helping things.
Yeah, and also I found that the person in charge of merch is doing more in the DayZ community, especially trying to pump it up with events and things like that to be able to keep generated. Ariana, who's the new DayZ merch, I think she's creator or head of merch. They just recently put on a big event. I think it's Kings and Queens of DayZ, where you got multitude of prominent DayZ streamers getting involved and battling it out with like PUBG style callovers from even bigger streamers, which is some of the events that I find that if I was involved in the DayZ promotional world, that's what I'd be concentrating on. I'd be drawing in, the streaming world to, put live events on the server. There's no reason why they can't. They put the Witch one on. Why not put a couple of actual events that, will draw people to certain areas?
Well, that's it. And again, not bagging on Marks, but being a community manager doesn't mean that you get to sit down once a month and stream on the DayZ account showing things off. You've got to be doing more.
Yeah. And looking in the background,
You have to.
I don't see what like I've searched for what he actually being a community manager. I'm not sure what his push and his role is to drive out to DayZ or drive out to the community, but I haven't seen much in the events. I mean, we are involved in the DayZ spotlight once a month, but yeah, when it comes to community events, I thought there'd be more community events kicking out. Maybe it's a future thing. Maybe these things take time. These dev teams are just sort of rolling in when it comes to Lad and that who started their influence after the last 12 months is only just starting to come in. Will it take another 3 or 4 months for Mark's role to fully be engaged?
Yeah, well, that's true too.
They're floated on the opposite side because they like a lot of big companies and a lot of companies, things move slowly. But is it going to be a point where do they have the time to be able to take it easy? I know there's a big focus on their PC world, but the console world is where they're going to generate the most money and where they're going to generate the most popularity, especially for their DLCs and their next map updates. If that's the direction they're going, that's really where they have to take it. There's no other real choice for the game. And it's good for us. We get all our maps, and that's what we've craved for: 25 maps to play on, and that might be the thing to be able to bring the player base, to a full strength, especially in the console world. But it's the console world that's going to make them the cash. So
yeah, definitely.
We're locked behind.
The one thing that
there you go.
The one thing that scares me about that is what happens if Reforger ever gets put on Game Pass. I think that could be the killer for DayZ if Reforger moves to Game Pass.
I think that would be the nail in the coffin. I honestly do. And especially like DayZ, it stays on Game Pass. That will be the overall killer. There'll be so much more push for those mods to come in. Mr. Brandon, doubt it. Don't think so. Don't think they'll push that arma reforger to Game Pass.
Because I agree with them. I don't think they will, because they'll lose money from sales.
Yes.
And if it's popping off the way it is at the moment, of course they want that cash.
Yes, and it also has expanded out in Lucas, which is a creator program for arma reforger, which was the funny thing that I've been seeing quite a lot on X is console and PC people being accepted to a creator program. No idea what the benefits are, or what do you call it. When I was in the same program for DayZ for Frostline, they basically just signed you up, and that gave you access to keys and things like that to be able to get involved with the updates and stuff like that. But it was just very interesting to see how many console creators and PC creators are getting added to the arma reforger creator program. You know what I mean? This is a game that's, as I said, it's exploded onto the console world, and also now with PlayStation getting its mods, that's now going to take another gouge into the console DayZ community, because a lot of people will go across now to PlayStation, where you can set up these massive conquest style maps where you need to fly helicopters and drive cars a good distance with a squad. Naomi, welcome, bud. Yeah, it's just
I mean, it is scary to think how many players have moved to Reforger, because you're right in what you said. A lot of the people, and I used to complain about this like a couple of years ago, that a majority of the player base were just PvPers, and they just wanted to treat it as a war game rather than a zombie survival simulator,
Yeah.
But now that those player bases are starting to go, kind of makes me rethink that. Oh shit, maybe they weren't so bad for the game.
Well, when it comes for the style of game, they turned DayZ into a PUBG world, but when it comes to the population of the game itself, they were a large part of keeping. Oh, look how many people are playing this. See, Mr. Brandon, I like going on the helicopter playground server. What's that? Just a server where they just unload helicopters for you to just jump into and fly around and do whatever you want with. And that's if DayZ had helicopters, you would find servers like that where you could jump in and just fly a helicopter around. Just two
have helicopter races of giant rings in the air.
Yeah. and
coming the end of this year.
That's it. Come and get the hell. Well, hopefully, if it all comes out. But you go.
No, I was saying, well, for years we asked for snow, and we got it. We've been saying the same thing about helis too, so we seem to be getting what we ask for if we ask enough.
Well, and this is the influence I expect of the community members that got employed into the dev team have now have been filtering that onto the table of the dev team and saying, hey, this is what the community wants. This is what that's what they crave for. They don't jump onto your official game; they jump on the community. And I mean, console has the largest official community out there. It's not as popular on PC as it is on both sides of console. And you're saying
I think that's because
yeah, go.
that's because on console we don't have to deal with the cheaters and shit that they do on official PC. Like official PC is almost unplayable.
Yeah, it can get to the point, especially with streaming and stuff like that, where they just get owned on
Yeah,
an
well,
official with no problems.
you just get killed from fucking 5k away from IJ.
Yeah. Brennan says it's just 2 spawns with helis and kill the bad guys. Flying is not easy. I don't think it would be fucking easy. Although you see some of the clips of the guys doing full flips and landing, and you know, people have attuned their skills in the flying a helicopter. But you are right; it is pretty bad, and I think that's the biggest thing with console. We actually have the ability to play the devs version of the game, rather than where there's official servers on PC. But you know, with the new maps coming out, I mean, if they put out a string of 5 or 6 new maps, that may push the survivalists back. But I mean, having a look at official over the last 12 months, you would have a page and a bit of full pops consistently every day, no problems at all. That's down to maybe 3 or 4 full pop servers now, and a decent amount of pop on the rest of the pages, in the first 2 pages. But even if you look at communities now, used to have your conquests, your stuff like that. Like conquest is still quite popular, but it used to have massive queues. It doesn't have the queues anymore. Your boosted servers are starting to go out. Even your death matches are on the fade out. They're not as popular and large as they used to be.
Well, that blew me out. You look at servers like Blackout servers, they had like 8, 9 servers that were constantly running pretty full. Whereas now I think they've only got like 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And they're hardly ever full.
And you're talking Blackout, which has been in the DayZ Xbox community for donkeys since the very, very start of community, and has been like one of the main draws. And yeah, they don't have. They used to have sectioned out death matches where you could choose Prison Island, Northwestern Airfield. Like, you don't have them anymore. They're more or less faded out.
It's crazy.
It is crazy, the massive turnaround of the community in 12 months, even though it's not that the game has pushed people away. It's more the fact of there's better games out there, and people love technology.
We're getting games like DayZ and there's another one like DayZ as well that's come out that's starting to increase in popularity.
Yeah, these DayZ's like a similar survival style one, isn't it? Similar to DayZ.
Yeah, quite similar.
Yeah. And you can see what's the appeal of that. It's only because it's got a better technology base. It's not 10 years old. It's got updated engines. It's got updated graphics. It's got updated. This is where I feel, does DayZ need to hold its brand and say, right, this is what we are like and this is how we will stay, and continue pumping out new items and new maps and new cars and new vehicles? Or does it need to move into the DayZ, the arma reforger world, and have that tech behind it where it's, you've got the better engines, the better vehicles, the guns, the multitude of people on one map?
I think that they're going to have to. When the next Xbox comes out, is it next year or the year after, and they release that's when all the old gens now, all the Xbox Ones will start being phased out. Then they're going to have to. They have to change engines, because why you got to play a game that's that old and you can run on such an old console with old graphics when you can play something much faster, much clearer,
better graphics, faster gameplay. Yeah, less bugs, because I have found that as much as Realm Reforger may have a few bugs, there aren't as many glitches or bugs. A lot of people have been playing, the gameplay itself and diving into it that way. And I
But
mean,
there's also a lot of issues that come with a major engine change. Look what happens when they changed the engine last time. It completely broke the game and they had to build it up from scratch. And I'd say that we're only now just coming right from that.
yeah, agreed. Yeah, agreed. Especially since, there has been that underlying glitches. The inventory was supposed to be fixed. It's still iffy. Hopefully with this car update, this will be the goal that actually loses the meme of DayZ. But if they drop this update and it destroys servers like it has in the past, I think that may be the nail in the coffin. I don't think as many maps as they could bring out, as much stuff as they could bring out, that I think if they have a player-based disappointing update where it's broken and the game can't be used, I think a lot of people will move and stay moved.
Yep. Yeah, I'd agree with that because I know there's a lot of people that are sick and tired of it.
Yeah, and it's more of the
Everyone's.
owners.
Well, yeah, they work so hard to build up these communities, and just from one update from DayZ, and it just pretty much decimates their community.
Well, not only that, it's also they get word from DayZ to say, hey, we're not going to wipe, no wipes needed, blah blah blah, and we've had updates where they've had to retract from that and say, listen, we're going to have to wipe because the update didn't go as smooth, blah blah blah. As a server owner, you're in the care of your community. So, especially around updates times, a lot of times the community will go, are we going to wipe? And if the wipe send goes out, what happens? Everyone packs up ship and stops playing. Because there's no need for progression. So, as a community owner, you say, listen, we're not going to wipe, blah, blah, blah. Everyone keeps playing. It gets to the update, and then things go wrong, and you say to the community, oh, listen, we have to wipe. That pisses people off. That makes players very, very angry.
Yeah, oh yeah, fuck yeah. Especially when you've got players that have gone, okay, we're not wiping, so we've got to keep investing 30, 40, 50 hours into building our base up and collecting our gear, only for it to be told, oh no, actually, sorry, it's all gone now. Yep. Hell yeah, that pisses you off.
And it's usually the server owners who come through and have to compensate and have to sort of go, all right, we'll put you, because we have to wipe your base, we'll put you some building supplies, we'll get you back, up and running, we'll make it a little bit easy. And owners shouldn't have to do that. If they get the word to say, listen, it's not going to wipe, then, that's what has to happen. Or just put it down that every update we wipe. Then there's never a hassle, and the player base is understanding of what's going on straight off the bat.
Yeah, well, at least then they know, like, every 4 months or so you're going to have a wipe.
Yeah.
Which, to be honest, isn't a bad thing.
Nope.
It's good. It keeps your servers fresh, keeps them running smooth.
Yep. There's a little bit of work to be able to take the new files and rehash them. I know a lot of server owners. I know of a server owner who in 1.19 was still using 1.08 coding because they just add in the bits. Yeah, they would just add in the bits that that was required and just allow the server to run through. But I think sometimes you need to fully wipe it, take the new files, and put your server back together. And a lot of the time, you don't have that time. You can't say to your player base, listen, I'm going to be down for 2 weeks while I rebuild the server. Don't play, go touch grass.
So, question from a player's perspective. Now, they've said that there's no wipe for this update, but they're recommending a storage reset to help with the gardening functions. What is the storage reset for console, and how does it affect anything else?
Well, so from what I know of, in the storage reset, there's a trigger in the actual Nitrado that you can do a storage reset. So that wipes the players, wipes the cars, wipes the bases, but doesn't reset the coding.
So it's pretty much a wipe then.
It's pretty much a wipe. It's just it's like factory resetting the code without taking the code back to the original form. So it won't so when I reinstall my server, it will take me back to the original DayZ, how they want it to come out, stuff like that.
So when they're saying there's no wipe, we won't force wipe, but if you don't storage reset, your gardening and growing functions probably won't work.
Yep.
Basically, they're saying, well, you have to wipe.
Pretty much. In a PC world, it's a little bit different. You can actually go in and I can just wipe bases, I can wipe cars, I can wipe players info, so they have access to it. And I agree with Brandon. The way they've done it now is much better, because the way I used to have to do it was I used to have to go into the one of the directories, tick a little button to say reset the XML. Actually, no, hit stop the server, reinstall it, refresh the page until my server name disappeared and went back to Nitrado server. Then scroll down, untick the refresh the XML, and then save it and restart it, and then that would wipe my storage and then but keep my files. So Nitrado added in a way that I could just wipe my storage. So no matter what, I can't just wipe bases. That's extremely hard. I can wipe cars, I can reset player data, but I can't do the base thing without great difficulty. I suppose you could go through and do the ignore list. I mean, there's always ways around it, but it's not easy on console to be able to specifically wipe certain stuff. It's either complete storage wipe and back to how your files say, or it's we will take you back to factory settings.
So for console then, let's say places like we've got RP servers and major faction servers.
Yep.
They're more so RP servers that use a lot of the growing mechanics and use garden plots and stuff. If they want this to work well after the update, then it's basically a forced wipe for them.
Basically, it's or they're going to run into issues where it's they've really got no choice. To be honest, on my side of the fence, I don't know why people don't just wipe. Your fresh files, fresh updated files means less problems.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't want to work. See, as said, Brandon says, yeah, it's just too much work to try and go in, and if you make the mistake while trying to wipe people's or do the ignore list or wipe people's informations, if you make the mistake, you fuck everything up. Like, I've made a mistake once and took everybody's cars out of the server just trying to adjust the cars, and that killed a server. It killed a service straight off the bat
Yeah.
because everybody had their shit in the back of the cars. And all of a sudden they went,
Yeah, I remember
where's my car's gone? Oh, fuck. Yeah. So, these slight little inconvenience for the players that the owners then have to take responsibility for will kill your $60 a month server with your $40 kill feed, and now you're sitting with a $100 bill that nobody plays. Yeah, you know what I mean? That's just the.
Well, I guess the whole point of that question that I was getting around to is, so by the dev saying no wipe, you want to, data refresh, whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah, storage
Basically,
wipe.
is that just them getting? Is that them getting themselves off the hook by saying, "Hey, look, no, we're not forcing a wipe." So that's basically putting the wipe onto the admins and owners and making them look bad rather than the Toronto having to be like, "Oh shit, sorry, but you got a wipe."
I think so. Or it's fail-safing. This is the update that's going to come out, but if you're a community... We'll make sure our shit's sound on the official side, but if you've got community servers and stuff like that, it may be worth wiping and start again.
That's kind of scary, really is, because that comes back to if this update doesn't come out right, then it's got to kill a lot of servers. I think a lot of players aren't going to realise that a lot of their community servers are going to need to wipe, and it's got to kill a lot of the player base just doing that.
Yeah. Yep. That's the one thing I like about, I think it's Rust wipe every update. Because then
That's what we said before.
You know what wipe day is.
Yeah.
Wipe day in the DayZ community is fucking awesome. You go on the official servers in the last 2 weeks of wipe week before an update's going to hit, and shit's popping off. People are bringing out all their ults. Gun battles are going off. The best fights you'll ever have. And then following that, the week afterwards, it's everybody's out there trying to grab all the stuff. I think also wiping helps the duping market slow their asses down. Which is basically the only problem on console anyway. Mr. Teabag says ignore list is the best way to wipe bases and set items. I got no idea how to use that ignore list, and as it's just not, you know what I mean? It's not something that I've ventured heavily into. And it would be, if that's what it came to, that I had to put that on the ignore list, as an owner myself, that would start to bring the nerves in. That bring me flashbacks of wiping everybody's cars again. You know what I mean? So you may get people that just go, oh, fuck it, I'm not going to do it. And I just won't say anything. And then, then that spawns a whole heap of problems on the other side of it. T says, a wipe is only ever aimed at official community, is only ever told or forced to wipe for major map changes or big mistakes people get all worked up over a wipe. And it's not even aimed at community, as we are a second thought to the devs. Correct. I'll send you a copy with all the items you can comment out until you want to wipe something. Cheers. See, that's my teacher there still helping me out. I fucking some parts I'm super confident and dive in there and just like it's nothing. Some parts I look at it, and there's some folders I still have not gone into because I'm like, I am not venturing into shit that I don't know. But it is. This
is why.
Yeah, go.
These are things why I will never own a server because it's way, way above my pay grade.
I'm just a simple painter.
Yep.
Yep. And you know what? You'd be less stressed because it's sometimes it's the greatest thing on the planet to be able to create. Just pull your ideas from your brain and make, what you want to out of the DayZ world, and then it breaks and you don't know why, and you spend the next 4 hours trying to work out where that comma was supposed to go. That's my hate. My
Yep.
hate in the planet.
I sat there and I watched my boy last month. He was because on the side every now and then he's been helping people with their servers on PlayStation when he was playing on PlayStation. Well, now he's got the PC. He's been helping people code and stuff.
Nice.
And he was doing this one for one of the servers, but he absolutely broke it. And he spent 6 hours stressing his ass off trying to figure out how the fuck he's going to fix these people's server.
and that would be the worst. That's why you'll never catch Greedy saying, yeah, I'll build a server for you. Never, ever, ever in the planet. Because unless you just want me to reinstall and let the Nitrado program install it for you, I do not want that stress. Because you're right, all it takes is one thing, and especially myself, I don't just do one code and check it. I basically build the whole server, and then I'll jump in it and test a few things to make sure it's working. And some of those things intertwine with each other, so you can be lost for hours trying to work out what you did, and sometimes it's just easier just to reinstall and start again. And saying that, they have improved the tools on the Nitrado servers when it comes to the console world of DayZ. There's a lot of backdoors that we had to do to be able to get, as I explained, with the wipe in the storage on beforehand, and now it's just a flick of the button. So it is good to see that there is investment on the Nitrado side of DayZ. And not just, okay, if you guys want to work out how to do it, you guys work out how to do it, or we'll backdoor it. So, which may be also a bad thing, because then you've got all your amateurs out there trying to put together, massive amounts of servers. I did see a little drama in the community, which happens quite often. And as a community owner, if you're employing someone or have someone as your dev and map designer, I did see Bastion are down for the next couple of weeks. Bastion RP, they had a little drama with one of their head coders taking out their server. Obviously a dispute higher up or blah, blah, blah. But yeah, that's the dangerous thing about, having a dev team in your own servers and having someone dedicated to just coding.
Well, I will say with their dev team and the way they compiled it was just advertisements on their Discord asking for people to help. So it wasn't as if I don't think they were really filtering out people very well.
Oh. And
that's what I noticed. It was just quite easy to become...
Can anyone help? Yeah.
Basically, that's what I was going for, because I think at the time, there was just after I stopped playing it, they were having a lot of trouble trying to find coders and map designers to help them out because they were just so under the pump.
Shit. But that's the big reasoning when I always say, if you're going to be an owner of a server, learn how to code it, learn how to do it yourself. Even if you've got to take your, even if you've got to take the time to find someone in the community who knows how to code and say, hey, don't just build me a server, teach me how to code it.
Or if you really need help, you can always go see CDS services for all your DayZ needs.
Facts. Shameless plug. Speaking of CDS, T-Bag says, shame they don't fix their shitty API that half doesn't work and docs don't exist for. See it, Brandon. They let little Johnny in Nitro. Yes, 100%.
That is the problem when you're getting random people to do that, because you're basically giving them control of your server.
Yeah.
Unless you really trust someone, it's not a smart thing to do.
No, and I can't believe how much people will just open the doors and say, "Hey, have a crack." Teabag says, "Best use the service with a good rep or coder with good rep, and there is a big difference between a coder and editor builder." Yes, Teabag's as a coder. I'm an editor builder. That is the difference. I'm very good at SimCity.
Well, I think that's where my boy went wrong because that's why he was working a lot in the DayZ editor, and then when he decided to help these people, he was jumping into the coding side of it, playing for the XMLs and that, and that's where he went wrong because he didn't quite understand it.
Yeah. And I think you know, you have to learn it over time to be able to understand it, and you have to break stuff over time. But somebody else's stuff is hectic. Yeah. Brendan says 1 gig builds versus 200 megabyte builds, 100%. We have all kinds, and I can say even if you upset me, I have zero interest in self-destructing myself and rep. To have one up on someone, but taking a server down, break your keyboard too. Yep. Yeah, but you make a very good point. You know, you'd rather someone be upset. You have no interest in self-destruction. And there's been also a few points where, you know, I've gotten the cranks in the communities about, you know, the revolt that happens, the jackalope issue, and Mr. Teabags helped us out with a level head and understanding that. Not only in CDS when you get into there, they've also got a lot of helping out with managing the drama that goes on, which I've really taken on board, because you know, drama happens everywhere in the DayZ world, happens in every game, but yeah, the capabilities of not blowing up your own rep and just let them have. If you want to put out a statement, and how to do so. So yeah, they don't just do builds; they do a whole lot of other stuff. But yeah, that's my little rant for today. I'm slowly watching my game that, you know, I put the last 4 years into trying to pump and keep going and run, lose majority of its player base to its own competition. Their future when it comes to, if this is what we're going to see every year or so, a new map, new guns, new mechanics, new sounds, new animations. If that's now what we're at the DayZ world, I'm happy with that. I think with new maps and new stuff like that, it will definitely bring the community into DayZ. The biggest thing are the breaks. If they break the coding, if they break the updates, if they break other stuff, if they introduce things that aren't going to help support the game and further the survival genre, I don't think they'll make it in the PvP world.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Not for the way, especially Reforger's going.
No. And it's DayZ's biggest competition. It's two different sides of a coin, but DayZ was always that PvP multi-team faction style game, and it still is in a sense, with groups battling it out for survival. But the war game side of DayZ, I think, is done and dusted. And hopefully,
well,
see, go.
I will actually say different to that because I've seen the game have major ebbs and major flows. I've seen it go up and down in popularity. And who's to say Reforger is here for the long run? How do we not know in 6 months' time Reforger's going to fall off because people are getting sick of it and they just end up flying back to DayZ like most people do?
Yep, that's true too.
That's the hope anyway.
Well, and of course, like T says, if DayZ mods go into arma reforger and start to be allowed and start to really generate, will that draw everyone else away from DayZ? Like like the DayZ standalone did with the DayZ mod.
Well, hey, it's already pulled their community manager over to make content on it, so.
Yeah. 100%. And it is pretty cool. And I think after they've done and dusted, well, Brandon says that after they finish the roadmap for Reforger, Arma 4 is the main focus. And I think that's where the major separation is. But Reforger at the moment is a major platform for frontier coding. You know, are you the first to put the DayZ mod up? Are you the next Dean Hall? You know what I mean? That's where Reforger now has the advantage over DayZ, because it's not the can I be the next server, or can I be the next role play, or can I be the next war server? It's, can I put DayZ onto Reforger and start the evolution again? Which is what a lot of the coders are doing. You see Scale Speed's, a lot of his content's moved to Arma Reforger. A lot of content creators in that coding who used to take the DayZ codes and run with it now merge across to the Arma Reforger.
But is that just because it's the new thing on the block, you know?
Correct. And the new modifiable thing on the block. People have seen, you know, Conquest take its way all the way up to the devs. It gets views 100%. The DayZ, if you've noticed, DayZ content doesn't get the views it used to. It's unless you've got big boys floating across, you know, Summit 1G, Shroud, stuff like that. You're only looking at 2,000 to 3,000 people viewing it on Twitch. I'm not sure the numbers on YouTube. TikTok is still pretty big. There's a lot of creators out there. I do notice that the console streamer world has exploded over the last 12 months when it comes to people coming out and easily be able to stream. 4K on Twitch last time I saw, 5K at the moment. That's because there's 1,000 people watching us. If only. and that's correct. Once again, it's getting fed by that new Ohio map, or Green Country, I think it's called. But this is one of, I think, the fourth map that's come out in the last 3 months, and the map hype isn't getting what it used to. Bitterroot just got it just got released out, and there's not much run on it. The new Ohio map, Avalon, was another one. And the funny thing is, will it be the same for the DayZ world? Like myself and Q will probably buy the new map, no problems at all. I know a lot of the coders will buy the map and buy it for PC. But like Sakal, is it going to go up in the air, surf for a while, then dive back down until it's free?
It depends on how well the map's received. I think a lot of the reason why a lot of people fell off and didn't really buy Sakal was because they watched people playing it, and a lot of people had complaints about it. So I think that put people off from buying it.
Yeah, especially at the streamer run, where they were just like, yep, this is like the mask. This is like the mask. This is like the mask. And I mean, the mouse didn't get a good lift off at the start either. It all of a sudden got a few popular streamers out there saying, this is cool to survive through hell. And all of a sudden, everyone jumped on it.
I don't know. See, I would like to think that a lot of the reason why the mouse became so popular is because the mission statement became bigger and bigger. There was something to do. There was a goal set for them, so that gave a lot of people something to do. Because that mission on the mouse is not easy. That's super hard. So it's a lot of replayability.
Yes. Which I think needs to be the new focus of DayZ, is that mission based. Are you the first to get this? That drives players to get on the map. And that's right, the lead dev for DayZ, Sumrak, he made the mouse. That's right. And he also made the Sandstorm out of Tascan too, which is very, very interesting. But yeah, print the suit, get the suit on, carry the suit. It's similar to.
It's not only that; it's also.
There you go.
Also, Deer Isle, that same mission statement thing. I think Deer Isle was so supremely popular, not just because it's beautiful and it's huge, but because of the mission statement that Deer Isle has. You know, same thing again. It's really in depth. It takes a long time. It's hard to complete.
Yeah, and like I think it's Banov, which is the one where you have to basically, cut yourself and run around on a thing to activate a ceremony to kick shit off. See, stuff like that is what the players don't want to write their own stories. They want to follow a storyline.
They want both.
Yeah,
I think they want both, especially in DayZ. Yeah, because of course you want that ability to be able to do whatever the hell you want, But it's also nice to once in a while be able to go do something that's not just you coming up with it. It's not just you running up the fucking coast murdering freshies for a few hours.
Yeah. Well, it'd be like if DayZ had no missions. Oh, sorry, not DayZ, GTA. Imagine GTA 5 with no missions.
Yeah.
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 It'd be a fucking weird game, wouldn't it?
It's just murder simulated.
Yeah, that's it. Can you follow the law?
Yeah, but Brandon, GTA 6 has never kind of come out, let's face it.
Yeah, it will.
Come this time next year, it'll be another year away, guys.
2028. 2028 will roll out. Deer Isle also has its own extra game mechanics like driving, exploring under the sea. Damn. See, that'd be cool. And is that something that, there's so much room for DayZ to add stuff. Where's the aerial animals that come and attack you? Where's the sea animals? Where's the, I don't know. I know we've got a subs already in it. I don't know if driving subs, because I find that the DayZ has to be based around the common man. It can't be you're a super soldier or, an ex-military, ex-army who can all of a sudden knows how to drive an underwater sub. Yeah. You got to keep that fine line of you are just an average person. Hey, you could maybe that's where things like skill books or, maybe you got to go find the driver's manual or, there are ways around it, but you do have to put it down that you are the common man surviving in just the normal world. I think if you take it out of that context, DayZ will go a little pear-shaped.
Well, yeah, they're kind of, you're going away from what DayZ really is.
Yeah.
You'd have Mr. Hall turning in his stomach.
That's it. His Icarus wings will fold round him. DayZ Hunter, they need to hire that guy. All the animal ears made are amazing. You know what I mean? And that's why I think DayZ, needs to stay in the platform that that it stays into. It needs to upgrade its graphics and its volume and its ability to be able to expand off technology. But I think like Minecraft, they need to just keep adding maps, keep adding items, keep adding animals, keep adding stuff into the game, and just keep it, I suppose, the way it is until it eventually dies out and the next generation takes over. because I don't think
Mm.
it can survive without a remake. As you say, especially
no
when the
way.
regen kicks in. Add some ducks. You made horses and all other animals. Get some ducks happening. Duck hunter. But it once again, then you're looking at stuff that's cool. Imagine going out to Stinnick Lake and, you're going to get a drink and a flock of ducks come out of the reeds. You know, what's going to happen? You're instantly going to turn, grab your shotgun and try and pepper some out.
Hell yeah.
So I think that's the way they need to go about it. Invest in building their world, building their maps, and allow the expansion on Arma Reforger. Because, yeah, otherwise I'm not sure where we go. Mr. Moist Demon dropping a long fart. And it's a little sad. It is a little sad that, you're looking at this game that's been going for nearly 12 years and 8 years on, what do you call it? And that's right. It needs to move to the new engine. It's the only way it needs to go forwards. 100%. 100%.
Mm.
But that's my little discussion, my little rant for this week's podcast. Anyone want to add anything into it? Anyone want to drop any final statements before we wrap things up? Mr. Moist Demon dropping another bitty drop. We appreciate it. Example, the PC, the devs couldn't offer them anything they don't have, so it's only us on console that's keeping them going. That's right. They can't offer them. And DayZ on Unreal Engine 5 would be absolutely crazy. Like, to be able to look down at the different water, the landscape itself, the view up here would be absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, crazy they wanted to make and use their own when Unreal and Unity are plug and play 10 times better. And I don't know what the understanding of them wanting to do that, which is pretty nuts. You want to think that they want to give the best of the best of the best. But it's something we have to consider as players and as dedicated members to the community. And fingers crossed there's a plan in place. They've understood, over the last, let's say 24 months, they've expanded their team. They've upped their updates a lot better. They've they've brought out more content. Do they realise that? Do they have the major plan ahead? We can only hope and trust.
You'd like to think so. If a game that's had the amount of longevity that this game does and the player base that it holds, you would think that they're looking to the future. You'd be stupid not to. What sort of business wouldn't?
I don't know, but the question is this the profitable side of the business? In a business, you also got to have your losses and stuff, and you can use those losses to help write off tax and do better business work and make a bit more extra coin. So there's a lot of times that companies will get a side company and put into bankruptcy to adjust that. So is what I'm fearing of is the Arma Reforger brand is the way they push forward, and they'll run DayZ out. They'll pump map after map after map that they can easily recycle through old Arma assets and draw as much of the pennies as they can out of it until they eventually say, hey, we've no longer got the will or the drive to be able to take this any further, or this is it. Or like a lot of games do, they go, right, we're going to add community mods, you community guys take over, which is what they did to PC, which is why they killed their funding for it.
I could see that being the direction it goes. to be honest.
Yeah. And you know that it will be a sad day that eventually the DayZ servers will close their doors and stuff like that. But surely Arma Reforger either have a plan to merge their player base across to a different direction, or they've got something in the works to be able to spice up DayZ. And if they satisfy more maps, more guns, more cars, buses, helicopters, it may bring some people back.
Do they just, once Arma 4 gets brought out, turn Reforger into DayZ 2?
Yeah. Maybe that is the lineup plan. They take that's merging one player base to the other. You pump up Arma Reforger, get the player base cranking onto that, bring out Arma, then Arma 4, once again the KOS, the military people head over to there, and then the DayZ modders kick in and turn Reforger into DayZ 2. And you pocketed all that cash off all those maps from those console people. Yay for console people. And this is me and Q playing the same maps over and over again in about 12 people on one server. Yelling at the devs. DayZ has the longevity of LBJ. I don't know what LBJ is. But it is. It's LeBron James. That's fucking funny. But yeah, that's my spiel for the week. We appreciate you coming in and having a chat about it, listening to what we have to say. You guys are absolutely wicked with the feedback that comes through for the chat. DayZ has a very question mark over its future. Maybe not the game or the concept itself, but definitely DayZ in a whole on console and PC. Or mainly console because of the less modifications you can do. So fingers crossed the devs have a plan in action. And we have a game that we have for the next 10 years that expands into over the next generations of consoles. And yeah, looking forward to the new map. Looking forward to the next update. Got my hands on the R12. It's a beast. I recommend it. Be Greedy's new weapon. BK-133 without the pump. So yeah, we appreciate you guys. We're going to gun up now and murder the fuck out of each other and Peasent off to work. So before I fucking get shot...
You know what?
You know, duel it?
I don't want to shoot you.
Oh,
I want to beat the shit out of you today.
Let's go then. But with meat. I'm going to get a piece of meat and slap you around. Fucking bash you with my meat. I gotta rest. I gotta rest. He's got me on the stamina. I'm gonna slap him with his meat.
Ah!
Yeah, pull the shifty on you. That's it, you're saving up your stamina. Let's see, I'll take one. I'll give you a freebie too. There you go. No, beat you senseless. No, you can't hide. Can't fucking hide. Can't fucking hide. I'm gonna get you. Oh, he's got him bleeding with his meat. Oh, I was gonna slap him with his meat. Big shout out to Mr. Q, legend on the couch. Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to thank you all for stopping into the podcast this week. It was a topic that needs to be brought up. Sometimes these sort of things need to be discussed and rolled through. DayZ is one of my favourite games, and I am looking forward to, making sure I can play that for quite a long time. We love you, Locust Q. But ladies and gentlemen, that's all the time we have. I said, if you've got some topics, if you've got something you want to discuss, you can always drop a DM to me in Discord, or anyone you would like to see on the show. We'd absolutely love you to drop it into us and make a suggestion. I'm happy to go harass people. I've got to bring back my bang too. 100% I've got to bring back the bang. I took it out because it wasn't being used and everybody now wants it. Y'all strange. I'll give you that much. Y'all are strange. Let's see who's fishing around. Mr. Ghost's on. We'll go and check out Mr. Ghost. DMZ Ghost 141 playing some DayZ. So hang around, check it out. Console streamer. Ladies and gentlemen, we love you for coming out and definitely giving the feedback. That's the best thing. But yeah, I will bring back the bang. The podcast always survives because you got legends come out and come and chat with us while we talk about it. We keep talking about the games and the issues. That's how we get these matters solved. But enjoy your weekend. Peasant's off to work. We will see you midweek for a stream, and then of course next weekend for the podcast. Be safe, and we'll see you next time.